Good morning, fourth graders. Happy Thursday. I hope you're having a thankful Thursday today. And it's time for us to go ahead and prepare for math with your math book, pencil, red spiral. Here we go. We're going to get started with some games this morning. Your goal is to beat me. I'm going to show you an improper fraction. Throw that fraction in jail, that numerator in jail. Divide by the denominator down here. Your answer will be a mixed number, okay? Here we go. Try to beat me. 4 1/6. 3 3/4. 9 1/6. I'll get a little closer so you can see. 4 4/5. 5 3/7. 8 2/9. And the first one again. 4 1/6. Good job. Go ahead and have a seat for me this morning. Okay, what have we been talking about? We've been talking about dividing fractions. That's been our new big thing for this week. Remember how we do that. We keep the first fraction exactly how it is. Change the sign from division to multiplication. Flip the final fraction. Who can tell me? I told you a big word. Well, it's not really big, but maybe it's new to you. That means the same as flip. It's a synonym. Remember? Invert. Invert means to flip. We're basically just turning it upside down. So whatever's on the bottom comes on the top. Whatever's on the top goes on the bottom. So let's go ahead and take a look at our very first story problem for today. Section 1, letter A. Haley picked 7/8 pecks of strawberries. She plans to put them in pint containers. A pint container is 1/16 of a peck. How many pint containers does she need? Hopefully you're taking your pencil and you're circling those numbers, 7/8 and 1/16. Were you able to box the word that tells us what to do? Well, I know you see the word of there, and I'm glad that you pointed that out probably. But let's stop and think about this for a minute. We're taking 7/8 and we're putting it into containers, and each container holds 1/16. So 1/16 here, 1/16 there, 1/16 there. It's almost like we're taking all that she has and putting them into separate containers. So if we're taking something and we're splitting it up, that means we're dividing. So when we go to set this problem up, we're going to say 7/8 is being divided into equal groups of 1/16. So let's keep our rules in mind. We're going to keep the first one exactly how it is. Change our sign from division to what? Multiplication. Flip the final fraction. 1/16 becomes what? 16 over 1. A fraction's best friend is what? Cancellation. Let's look diagonally to see if we can divide those numbers by anything. Well, whenever we have a 1 and done. We can't do any cancellation there. 16 and 8. Let's look at that smaller number, 8. Can we divide 16 by 8? Of course we can. There are two groups of 8 and 16. 8 divided by 8 is 1. Multiplying fractions is no problem. Top times top. What is 7 times 2? 14. Bottom times bottom. 1 times 1 is 1. Let's examine that fraction. Is it proper? No, it is not. So let's put the 14 in the division house. Divide by 1, and you will have a total of 14 groups. I know what you're thinking, but Mrs. Evans, we can't just write a 14 down because this is a story problem. You're exactly right. Who can tell me what that label is going to be? Alacia, do you know what it is? Containers, or pint containers. You might say pint containers, okay? Either one, pint containers or containers. Then we'll circle our answer there. Good job. Thanks for helping me out there. Let's go ahead and go to section 2. Section 2, letter E. This is us reviewing our dividing fractions. Remember, we can only divide a fraction by a fraction. If we don't have one, we do what? We make one. That's right. We keep the first one, 9/1. Change our sign from division to what? Multiplication. Flip the final fraction. 3/8 become 8/3. A fraction's best friend is what? Cancellation. Look diagonally, 1 and done. Oh, we can divide by 3 here. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Multiply across. 3 times 8 is 24 over what? 1. Don't put a circle around that. That is an improper fraction. 24 is much larger than 1. So let's put that 24 in the division house. 24 divided by 1 gives us what? 24. Put a circle around that. You can work this problem on your own. Once again, in your book, I'm going to leave this up here for you. Go down to 2J. 2J is a little bit different because we already have a fraction over here. If we've got a fraction and a fraction, we can go ahead and divide that. I'm going to erase this just to give me a little bit more room to do my computations. Here we go. Keep, change, flip, KCF. 4/5. I keep that exactly the way it is, 4/5. I change my sign from division to multiplication, the opposite. Finally, flip the final fraction. 3/10 become 10/3. A fraction's best friend is what? Cancellation. Let's look diagonally. If they're in counting order, it's good to go. The smaller number here is 5. Can we divide 10 by 5? Of course we can, and we get 2. 5 divided by itself equals 1. When you're dividing a number by itself, it will always give you 1. Let's multiply across. 4 times 2 equals 8. 1 times 3 equals 3. Ooh, let's stop and look at this. 8/3. Is it proper? It is not. Let's put that 8 in the division house. 8 divided by 3 equals, how many 3's go into 8? 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract, you get 2. Instead of bringing down the next number, bring your remainder up. 2 over, Christina, what goes here? The 3, that's what we're dividing by. The 3 goes over here. Let's look at that carefully. Can we reduce that? No, we cannot because the 2 and the 3 are in counting order. Let's just leave this exactly the way it is. Good job. Thanks for your help with that one. Okay, the front is all review with dividing by fractions, dividing a fraction by a fraction. The bottom, you're going to be doing a graph. What kind of graph is that? Look quickly. It's a bar graph. The bars are going to be going from side to side, left to right. What kind of bar graph do we call that? A horizontal bar graph. Can you tell me the other type of bar graph? A vertical bar graph or a column graph, okay? But these, you're going to be drawing your bars from side to side. So they're having a jump rope contest. What a great idea. I think you need to challenge somebody in your house to have a jump rope contest. And you can make a graph just like this one. So just take off Molly, Alyssa, that's really close to Alacia, Brianna, and Sierra, and you can replace it with the members of your family that's in your household. They did a lot of jumps, though. So I am curious, how many jumps do you think that your family members could do at home? You might not be using 25 as your scale. Did you notice what they started with? 200 jumps. So that's a lot of jumping. Every line that we get to, we're adding an additional 25 jumps onto that. Oh my goodness, I'm getting exhausted just looking at this graph with all that jumping. I think this was a wonderful thing for you to do at home. Jump rope challenge. Extra points for the people who show me their graph, their jump rope challenge graph. But like I said, you might need to change your scale at the bottom. Maybe counting by 5s or counting by 10s or 20s, but probably not 25 and starting with 200. But you're going to be doing this bar graph at the bottom on your own. Would you go ahead and turn to the back page for me, please? Yesterday, we reviewed a temperature problem where we went from Fahrenheit to Celsius, but today I want to review with you the formula for going from Celsius to Fahrenheit, or just the opposite of that, okay? So let's take a look at 6a together. 6a, we're going from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Yesterday, we went from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So the first thing that I want you to do is what? Write your formula first. What is our formula? F equals 9/5 times C plus what? 32. The next step is we need to what? Erase and replace the C with what the C is. C is 25 degrees. But what is our rule? Yes, we can only multiply a fraction by a fraction, but are we going to add first or multiply first? We always multiply first, okay? So here we go. Multiply fraction by fraction. We don't have one, so we make one. A fraction's best friend is what? Cancellation. 5 cancels and becomes a 1. 25 becomes a 5. F equals 9 times 5 is 45. And that's it? No, we cannot leave that 32 out in the cold. Oh, bless his heart. So we have to add the 32 in. So it's part of the group also. Remember, at this point, this is where fourth graders often get confused because they forget to add the 32. Or when they do set it up this way, they forget to add place value to place value. So when I'm adding 5 plus 3 or 5 plus 2? 5 plus 2 because those are in the ones place. 5 plus 2 gives us? Yes. And 4 plus 3 gives us? A 7. Now I'm done? No, not yet. What's the last thing I need to add? My degree symbol. Looks like a little bubble up in the air. Circle that as your final answer. I'm going to plug it in the blank, and we are good to go. I'm going to actually get you started on one other problem. I saved this one for last, and this is a review problem of our long division. One of the big things in fourth grade is we do long division with 3-digit divisors. So if you struggle with this, this is a great time for you to review. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get through the whole problem in our time, but we'll give it our best shot. The first thing that we have to do is estimate. Estimate is our first thing that we do. That means we underline the number that's in the greatest place value and circle the number next door. We circle the neighbor to the right. It's always the right neighbor. Look at that right neighbor. Is that neighbor 5 or more? Yes, it is. So we up the score. What is one number higher than the 4? A 5. 5 is going to be our estimated number that we're going to use just here in a minute. Can 467 fit into 2? No, ma'am. Put an X on top. Can 467 go into 24? No, ma'am. Put an X on top. Can 467 go into 244? No, ma'am. Put an X on top. Can 467 go into 2,442? Yes! When you get to the yes, go back up to your estimated number. Now we're going to guess and see how many 5s can fit into 2. Well, none. How many 5s can fit into 24? I know what you're thinking. 4, right? But this is an estimate. 24 is really close to 25. 5 times what gives us 25? 5. So let's use that. We are done with the estimating part, and we just divided just then. Now it's time for us to multiply by the original number. 5 times 7, 35. Go straight down. Put a 5. Carry your 3. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 3 is 33. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 is 23. And we'll be ready to subtract. That's all of our time for today. I'm going to have you go ahead and subtract and bring down. Continue those 5 steps. Today, do as much as you can. Circle any questions that you have, and I'll get back to you on FaceTime. Love you guys. Bye-bye.